Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny and this is Creating Crafts with Jenny. And I have finished my little paint by number here. It looks like a little, I don't know, lemon drink, I guess you could call it. I bought this from AliExpress years ago. And it was not an expensive paint by number at all. I started calling this my rescue painting for the simple fact that I toted this thing down to Florida. I worked on it a little bit there. I'll run some footage of me while I was working on it down there in Florida. And it had issues from the get-go. Some of the paints were very watered down. When I brought it back to Indiana and let it sit for probably a good year, some of the paints here I've got them in my hand. I'll show you what I'm looking at down here. I'll put another picture of what I'm looking at down here. Some of the paints had dried up. And I'll run some footage. I'll run two different kinds of footage here. I'll run footage of me mixing up some paints from tube paintings that I mixed a couple colors together because the paints were done for. They were completely hard. So I did my best to come up with two colors using somebody else's paints to try to finish out the painting. And I think it did a pretty good job. I used my handy dandy color wheel to do that. And I highly suggest that if you're going to if you take this on as a strong hobby, I mean a very strong hobby, that you invest in some good paints and a good color wheel, just in case you need to mix up some paints, that sort of thing. Like I said, a very strong hobby, that sort of thing. A lot of times I see people keeping their paint pods, and then you'll see them a lot of times like on Facebook and stuff like that, where they have bags and bags and bags of these. That's not a bad thing to do, but a lot of times they start to dry up too, and you just end up with a lot of issues with storage and stuff like that. Now, if you've got a bunch of paints, it's easier just to give them away, that sort of thing, because they're going to dry up fairly quick. But I say that, and then I have used paints from other painting projects to get me out of a tough spot, because I've needed to use them on other projects. I know. Say one thing and then do something else. I know. We all do it. But also, I discovered, and I seen this something out there on Facebook, was where people were starting to use Flood in their paints as a paint conditioner. For paints that were starting to dry up, that were starting to, either one or two things, they were either starting to dry up or they were thin. And it can go either way, and it is absolutely amazing to use, and I will run footage for that also. And I'm actually talking in that footage, and I put it in a smaller container, and you always want to shake it up. Flood needs to be shook up before you use it. And you'll see me shaking it up on camera too. Also, I am a firm believer in using Mod Podge. And this is the one that I used the other day. I was kind of talking about it, and because I have several different kinds of Mod Podge in my studio. I've got the sparkle. This is a glass luster. I've got the matte, but I usually use this one when I use on Paint by Number. I think I got this at the Dollar Tree. I think I like the smaller containers again for Paint by Number. I don't know why. I think I like small containers. Yeah, that's weird. But yeah, I like this, and I put this down on a canvas that had already been started. And yes, you can still remove the numbers once this has been down. It takes a little bit more scrubbing with the water and alcohol. And that is also in the footage that I'm getting ready to run, and there's verbiage in that also. So there's no music. There's me talking in this footage. So I'm telling you, not listen to me, I'm telling you. So I'm talking about what I'm doing, that sort of thing. Because a lot of times, in some of the footage, I do get quiet because I'm just working, that sort of thing. But in a lot of the footage, I am actually talking about what I'm doing and why I'm doing what I'm doing, that sort of thing. So considering that this was a cheap canvas, cheap paintings, it turned out okay. I'm not upset with it. So yeah. So I'm getting ready to run some footage for you. I will run some footage of me using Flood. I will run some footage of me using Mod Podge. And I will run some footage of me mixing some colors for you. So there'll be 3 sections of footage. You guys okay with that? Okay. All right, so here you go. Here's some footage. Yeah, it's kind of broken up. It should be just, they're not real long footage, but there you go. So here you go. Okay, so I need this color. Yellow and green. Ah, that was so good. Okay. The light green and yellow. I'm like sticking your fingers in it. I'm gonna put messes here. Yeah. Yellow. What do you guys think? More yellow? More yellow. Here we go. think we're good. Let those dry so I can clean them out later. All right, I think we're good. Yeah. So I think some second coats on some of these. See some numbers shining through, which I don't like to see. See the 4s? I know. So yeah, I'll take this back into the office and we'll do some painting on it. Some good brushes and yeah, we'll get working on it. There you have it. Yeah, so like I said, yeah, anytime you can get your hands on the tube paints, they are perfect for your working with your paint by numbers. Just, I would say anywhere from 24 to 36 colors. You might have to mix some colors, grab a, well, where it went, your mixing wheel, painting, your color wheel sort of thing. And then get your colors that you need and go from there. So there you have it. So I will film painting the rest of this, and yeah, like I said, a couple of those needed water, so I made some notes to put a couple drops of water in them. I have some brushes over here. I don't know. I think I'll go with some of the newer brushes that I had. Yeah. Yeah, do some blending down here and stuff. It's interesting to, I've learned some things. This is probably a couple years old. I know, isn't that crazy? Those have been opened and shut and opened and shut and opened and shut, and they're still pretty good. I'm impressed. Okay, so I will get. Don't worry. Let's Floetrol. I'll give it a try here. I've read and seen people use it with pretty good success. Let me try just a little bit more. I think if it was completely, there goes the voice. I don't think if it was completely dried up, I don't think it'd work. But I think maybe it might work. Alright. Let's just let that out there. Now that. Okay. You definitely want to shake that too. Okay, let's see here. My brush off. Alright, let's try it. Let's see. Let's try a bigger brush. Yeah, it might be working. Huh. See what it looks like when it dries, though. And feel it smoothing out. got one. I don't know if you guys can see it. Way down here. I'm just gonna go over some of these ones that are like shining through. Maybe more. Got one way down here. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Maybe down here in the corner. Okay. Just doing some touch-ups. I don't want to drag the camera over wet paint. Let's see. Let's do some little touch-ups here. Okay, I think I like flood and paint. Wow. We can see how it dries though. That's what we all care about, is how it dries. I don't know why I didn't erase these. I know. Maybe the lighting was bad. I didn't see them. No. Just honestly don't know. Like I said, this painting's been sitting for a while. I seriously thought that the paints would be all dried up. And they were actually in really good shape. This is a AliExpress painting. They have an interesting concept when it comes to paint by number selection. You should check them out. Especially if you're wanting to do a collage of paintings and you want them to all look alike. Not sure. Maybe you go to, there's one up here that needs to be painted. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that footage of me kind of explaining what I was talking about. So I talked about the flood, the Mod Podge, and me mixing colors to match to finish this up. So there you go. All right, so I'm going to get off here because I have another show I want to do before we finish up or get into our Thanksgiving eating. Although the cat and I have enjoyed a little bit of chicken before it went into the chicken and noodles, so it was really good. All right, so what do I always tell you guys? Go out there, be absolutely awesome, do your thing, and I'll see you in my next video. Talk to you soon. Bye.